Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. This week we are checking out Batman Death of the Family
Wait, really?
from the Teen Titans perspective. That's right, Scott Lobdell's Teen Titans ties in to Scott Snyder's Death of the Family event. So this week we are going to be reading the Death of the Family paper trade of Teen Titans, which includes the tie-ins as well as a couple other issues that are a part of Death of the Family. And we're going to see whether or not this trade does a good job of giving the context required to understand what's going on without having to read Batman. The reason I'm not doing all of Death of the Family is because in the future I might do the whole event, including all of the tie-ins, but I do have to read it now. I have to read the Teen Titans tie-ins because they are important to Tim Drake's character arc going forward. So without further ado, let's get straight into Teen Titans issue 0, written by Scott Lobdell with art by Tyler Kirkham, Bat, Norm Rapmund, and John Sybil. Now, in this issue, we get to see Tim Drake's brand new origin in the New 52, and this issue also straight up lies to the reader through the cover because Bunker and Skitter appear on it, and they said that their origins were supposed to be in this, but they're not. They're not in it at all. I mean, they are, kinda, you'll see. The main focus is Tim, and surprisingly, the entire issue is narrated by Batman when you'd think it should be narrated by Tim, so he kind of feels like the main character of this issue, even though it's Tim's origin story. Tim is a child prodigy. He's great at everything. He's great at gymnastics, he's got amazing detective skills, he's incredibly smart. He's what many would refer to as a Gary Stu. A character with zero flaws who is good at everything. Everybody's praising him. He goes outside to see his parents. They want to go out and celebrate with an ice cream sundae, but he's too busy working on a project. And he's like, hey, let's just do that on the weekend instead. And his parents obviously look a little sad because of this. As Tim leaves, what he doesn't realize is that Bruce Wayne is in a nearby car watching him. I love the fact that he came here disguised as an old man so that Tim wouldn't recognize him, because right now, Tim Drake is trying to figure out the identity of Batman, and Bruce knows this and has been tracking him this entire time, and he doesn't want Tim to become his new Robin. He doesn't want a new Robin after what happened to Jason. And Alfred has a go at him. He's like, I don't think Jason would like you using his death like that. Bruce argues back, saying that Tim has a family, unlike he and Jason, and he doesn't want to get in the way of that. And Alfred says, that's a perfectly reasonable sentiment, sir. And Bruce says that that's Alfred's version of whatever. You can always count on Scott Lobdell for cheesy dialogue. Tim heads home and has a conversation with his dad, where his dad basically says, we're holding you back, Tim. It's important that you move on from us as parents and live a life that's better than any life I ever could have, because you're a lot smarter and better than I am. That's basically what he says. It's honestly pretty sad, and Tim replies to him saying that he could never have a better father than his dad. He doesn't say anything about his mum. He just says how much he loves his dad, and then he goes to sleep. I'm like, oh, okay, damn. Like, could have at least said that you could never have a better mother that you've had as well, you know? Turns out the project that Tim has been working on is figuring out the identity of Batman. He heads over to the Gotham Aviary, which was owned by Enrique Fluente. This is who Tim believes Batman is, because in the New 52, Tim didn't actually figure out who Batman was. In the original timeline, Tim figured out it was Bruce Wayne, or was very close to figuring out it was Bruce Wayne. He was basically on the cusp of it before Batman intervened. In the New 52, he didn't have a clue, and he heads there. Batman meets with him because he was told to go there by Alfred, and he basically says, All those clues you've been following this whole time, I laid them down to trick you into thinking I was this other guy. You're never actually gonna find out my identity. I'm not gonna let you join me, because Tim asks him if he can become his new partner, and Bruce is like, no, I'm not gonna let you. You can go home and live your life with your parents, just live a good, loving life. And Tim's like, you can't tell me what to do, you can't tell me to live my life. You need me as much as I need you. He kind of acts like a spoiled kid who's been given everything in life and he thinks he just deserves to be Batman's partner. Tim doesn't listen to Batman. He continues trying to hack into Batman's files to figure out his identity, and Batman blocks him at every way, even sending him a message which his username is RealBat01. So at this point, Bruce thinks that he's finally gotten through to Tim, but what he doesn't know is that this is just the start. Bruce arrives at the Batcave one night where he learns from Alfred that Tim has been hacking into criminal accounts and taking all their money so that Batman will notice him. And that's not a good thing, because now thugs that work for the Penguin have arrived at Tim's house to kill him and his parents because he's been stealing their money. So Tim is drinking some milk from a jug, shot goes straight through the jug, causing it to explode, and then all these bullets start riddling the house, and Batman comes in, he crashes through the window in order to help save Tim, and Tim's like, Batman? And Batman's like, don't act like you weren't expecting me. Tim asks Batman what the plan is, and Batman says, there is no plan. I'm dealing with this, you go and find your parents, if they're still alive. And luckily for Tim, his parents are alive, and he goes, he sees them, spends time with them, and they end up in witness protection, and we will never see Tim's parents again, I don't think. Yeah, unlike the original timeline, where both of his parents had large impacts on his life fighting crime, in the New 52, they just get swept to the side, never hear from them again. It's also revealed that in the New 52, Tim is his real name, but Drake is not his real last name. That's a witness protection name. A lot of this stuff would be retconned later in Secret Origins 3, also written by Scott Lobdell, where he would confirm that Tim actually knew Bruce's identity. He did figure it out. And also that his real name was Tim Drake, and that Drake was not a witness protection name. Which really just shows how much of a mess the New 52 was, where they were retconning their own origin stories a couple of years later. Tim then goes and sees his parents for what I assume is the last time he's gonna see them, because after this, he just goes fully into his superhero career. So he just has his final moments with his parents where he says goodbye to them. It's just really sad. Like, why? Why is it like this? And then he gets taken to the Batcave where he becomes Batman's new partner for a very small fraction of time. He doesn't fight alongside Batman for very long at all. Alfred offers him Jason's old Robin costume, and Tim says, nah, I don't want that thing, I'm gonna try something a little bit different. And then we get our one reference to Bunker and Skitter in this issue, which is these two images here. That's literally all we get. And then Tim comes back and Bruce is like, hey, it's great to see you, Robin. Like, are you looking forward to being the Robin to Batman? And Tim's like, nah, I'm not Robin. I'm Red Robin. So instead of being Robin, he's called Red Robin from the start. He doesn't have the Red Robin costume immediately. He does have his, or one of his early Tim Drake costumes, the one from the early 2000s. Yet he's not called Robin, he's called Red Robin. And that's it. That's the end of Tim Drake's origin story. Just a really weird, retconned version of his original origin. There were similarities and then a lot of differences. The worst possible changes they could have made are the ones they made. My biggest problem with the issue is that even though it's an issue of Teen Titans, it doesn't focus on the Teen Titans. It only focuses on Tim. And it's narrated by Batman, so it feels more like a Batman issue than it does a Teen Titans issue. And now we move on to Teen Titans issue 15, written by Scott Lobdell and Fabian Nicieza, with art by Brett Booth and Norm Rapmond. The issue begins with Barbara Gordon, Batgirl, arriving to meet with the Teen Titans because they sent a call out to her pretending to be Tim Drake because they believed that she wouldn't listen to them, so they tricked her to come here so they could tell her that Tim has gone missing and that they want to find him. And I'm not sure if this is just a Scott Lobdell thing, but Batgirl constantly tries to be funny in this. It's actually pointed out by Tim that Barbara Gordon tries to be funny all the time, but isn't very funny. And when some of the Teen Titans laugh at her jokes, she gets very proud about it and is like, huh, that one made you laugh? It's like she's trying to be a stand-up comic or something. Hey, so what's the deal with Batarangs? Cass is kind of the only normal person here. Miguel and Bart are too busy fawning over Batgirl and geeking over the fact that it's Batgirl and they're big fans of her, and Bart has to make the situation kind of creepy. He tries to run up and hug her, but because she's got electrical pulses in her cape, she's able to send Bart flying with an electrical jolt. Turns out Barbara is also looking for Tim. They believe that he's been kidnapped, but they're not exactly sure. All we do know is that the Joker is behind this. She gives us a quick refreshment on what has been going on in the Batman title. Joker got his face skinned off, and then a year later he came back. He attacked Commissioner Gordon's office, killed 19 police officers. He also invaded Bruce Wayne's home. Lately, he has just been incredibly relentless and more focused than ever. And now, he is targeting each member of the Bat family. So, Batgirl, Robin, Red Robin, Nightwing, even Jason Todd. We then cut to Tim, where we see that he has woken up in his original Red Robin suit. He was kidnapped by the Joker, and he sees the Joker. And the Joker is wearing some kind of electrician uniform or something. It's kind of weird. And he's also wearing Tim's glider cape. And Scott Lobdell's awful jokes kind of work for the Joker. The Joker's already kind of annoying, like that's his whole thing, and he makes bad jokes all the time, so it's the one time where it's fitting, but he still makes jokes in this that don't fit with the Joker. Like, there's one moment where the Joker calls the Teen Titans Tim's Bieber band. Like, I don't know, I don't think the Joker cares to know who Justin Bieber is. Now I just imagine him listening to Baby while he's driving his Joker-mobile. Bart retrieves a map for Barbara, and she points out all of these locations that the Joker has committed crimes in the past, because those are the places he is hitting right now. She tells the Teen Titans to split up and search all of those locations. They all go their separate ways. Cassie pulls Barbara aside and asks her if Tim is definitely alive, because she wants to make sure that the Titans are ready for the worst. And Barbara's like, yeah, he's definitely alive. He's definitely not dead. I don't know that for sure, but I also know that. Because he's Tim. Miguel's kind of mad that Cass was just asking Babs some decent questions. Bart and Kiran eventually arrive at one of the locations. They see that there are a couple of statues of Robins outside, and Bart is like, it's a little bit on the nose, isn't it? He rushes into the building without thinking. We see that there's this green gas, and he's just bringing it throughout the entire building where all these homeless people are. And when he leaves and reunites with Kiran, we see that the homeless people have been transformed by the gas into Jokerized people. And this is further confirmed by the Joker to Tim, where he explains to them that he tricked the Titans into going to these locations so that Kid Flash would grab his Joker gas and spread it around, creating a Jokerized army. Because he's always 3 steps ahead, and he also is breaking the fourth wall. For some reason, he's able to read all of Tim's thought bubbles. Does he know? Does he know, you're asking yourself? No, he can't. No, he can't, you say. He's lying. He's lying, you say? Cass tries to call Bart but can't get through to him, so they know something's wrong, so they decide to try and go find him, and for some reason, she and Miguel are just beefing. I don't get it. Why are they always beefing with each other in this book? They're just constantly talking smack to one another. Can your psionic brick things keep up? Does your silent armor also work on your mouth? Bart and Karan are overrun by Jokerized people, and we see two panels where there are Black Canary and her husband. That's who these two characters are meant to be. I don't know why they're included in this. They're only in this small cameo. Well, I know why they're included in this overall. There were Birds of Prey tie-ins to Death of the Family. It's just, why put them in this? If you're just reading the Teen Titans tie-ins, and even if you're reading the main Batman book, this would be very confusing to just see these two characters randomly show up here. Miguel and Cassie arrive as well and start to get overwhelmed by Jokerized people too, and that is when Arsenal, Roy Harper, and Starfire, Coriander, arrive to save their butts. So now this is a Red Hood and the Outlaws and Teen Titans crossover. Kinda coincidental that in the original timeline, these two characters were members of the Titans. Not in the New 52, but previously. Now we move on to Red Hood and the Outlaws, issue 16, written by Scott Lobdell with art by Timothy Green II and Wayne Foucher. The Titans try to fight the Jokerized people alongside Arsenal and Starfire, and Roy tries to get everybody together, try to be a leader, but they don't listen to him at all. In fact, Cassie, after everything she's been through, all the problems that she's had because she refuses to work with her team, still says that they just hit hard. And if it doesn't work, then they hit harder. And so she shoves everybody back into the building that they escaped from, and then Bart secures it with wooden planks and nails and things. And Roy's kind of impressed, but then he's like, you do realize it's not going to hold them though, because the Jokerized people all have like super strength and shit. And so they all start breaking out of the building again. So before they can do that, Roy is like, you guys need to go and find this cure that I know about, because I drew some blood using my blood drawing arrow, and I sent the data to my floating fortress that I have, my secret floating fortress. I'm not kidding, he has that. And it analyzed the blood and said that there is a warehouse nearby that has the cure that we need. Coincidentally. So you guys go and get that cure. Me and Miguel, we're gonna stay here and take care of these Jokerized people. Give you some time. So Miguel and Roy fight against the Jokerized people while the Titans head off to this warehouse, and while they're heading there, Starfire and Karan have a conversation where Karan says, oh, the Titans, we're not friends yet, we're getting there, but we're not friends right now. And Starfire asks Karan if she's told them about that thing, and I think she's referring to when that agent came up to Solstice and offered her the ability to become human again if she helped him. I think that's what Starfire is referring to. And Karan says, no, I haven't told them about that yet. And yet she's told Starfire about that. Unless Starfire just knew beforehand. I don't know, it's a little confusing. It's not really made clear what they're talking about here. They arrive at the warehouse where the cure is, where it literally has written on it, cure, do not touch. So you know that the Joker put it here as a trap, because there is a bomb in there. It gets set off as soon as they try to take the cure. Bart is able to get everybody out to safety, and he's also able to get the cure out as well, thanks to his super speed. While fighting the Jokerized people, Roy runs out of arrows, and so he starts using his bow as a weapon. And he tells Miguel to stop just punching things and use his powers for something else. And for the first time, I don't know why it's the first time, you'd think it would be brain dead to come up with this kind of solution, Miguel creates a brick wall with his psionic bricks, because, yeah, apparently he's never done this before. How do you have brick-based powers and never come up with the idea of creating a brick wall? The Titans then arrive with the cure, and it's revealed that Bart is afraid of needles, and Cassie has to go up to him and set him straight and be like, you are going to suck it up, run around, and get everybody with these syringes so that they can turn back to normal, and let's just pray to God that these syringes are sterilized, because you know the Joker, you'd be totally in character for the Joker to make cure syringes non-sterilized. You've been cured of the Jokerism, but now you got tetanus. The cure works and everybody turns back to normal, and there's this one homeless guy that's just like, oh man, and I thought homeless was bad enough. It then ends with Roy saying that he's proud of the Titans for coming together and helping these people, and that he's happy that he's preventing them from becoming screw-ups like him. We now move on to Teen Titans issue 16, where Tim Drake and Jason Todd have both been kidnapped by the Joker and slowly wake up next to each other. And even though we've never seen them interact at all, Tim states that Jason is one of the members of the Bat family that he's closest to, that he thinks of him like a brother. It's really forced. They even have nicknames for each other. They call each other Red. This is the first time that we have seen them interact in the Teen Titans book. Tim even says that after Jason's resurrection, the two of them haven't talked much. I don't think they even talked at all before the resurrection, because Tim had no association with Batman. At the time that Tim was recruited by Batman, Jason was still dead. This is the problem with the New 52, squashing everything down into 5 years, like 20 plus years of history down into 5 years. You just end up with problems like this, where characters don't actually have a history with each other, but the writers say that they do. The Joker arrives and pretends that he has a problem with messing with a couple of children. He refers to Jason as a child, even though Jason is at least in his 20s at this point. Tim is very young. He is a child. But he's just like, nah, just kidding. It's all part of the plan. I don't really give a crap. Where is my control room? He heads over to his control room. He turns on the lights, and he reveals to Jason and Tim that he has kidnapped their fathers somehow. Which means, oh yeah, great witness protection, that the Joker has just stolen Tim's father. And yeah, nobody really cares about Jason's father. Usually he was just a henchman for Two-Face, he was deadbeat dad. Meanwhile, the Teen Titans are being likable people when Cassie calls Roy a moron, even though he helps them a lot in the previous issue. I don't get why the characters are so mean to each other all the time. She also notices that Solstice is being weird, and it's because Solstice hasn't told anyone about her encounters with Agent Lance. And then we cut to Agent Lance, who's just kind of sitting on top of a building thinking about stuff. And that is when this woman named Basilisk shows up, who works for some kind of organization. They want the Titans, and Lance uses his powers against her. This guy is really OP. Like, he can just shut down somebody's powers. And then he gets attacked from behind by somebody who we don't get to see, but they clearly know him personally. And then we cut to Trigon. Yeah, that's right, the story decides to take a quick diversion to Hell, or someplace similar to Hell. He is unveiling to his followers his daughter, the Black Bird of Terror, Raven. And we see Raven for the first time. There she is. That's Raven. Keep in mind, she's probably like 15 years old and she's wearing this outfit. I kind of like the cloak, but everything else, not really a fan of, because her costume reminds me too much of Harvest. Especially the mask. She just looks like a female version of Harvest. Meanwhile, the Joker says that he was able to steal Tim and Jason's dads just because he is the Joker. He doesn't really give an explanation other than that. And he says that he is going to kill the father of whoever wins their death battle, because he's going to force Tim and Jason to fight each other to the death. And Tim is like, hey, there's no way that we're going to fight each other to the death because we're brothers. And Jason just points his gun at his head because he's gonna try and kill Tim in order to save his dad because he's got daddy issues. And right now, Tim is regretting saying that Jason is the person he trusts the most in the world. So, the two of them fight each other, trading blows. Tim is able to flash a light in Jason's face, blinding him for most of the fight, but Jason is able to fight blind because he's just that good. Also, I need to point out the fact that I really hate Jason's mask during the New 52. I don't like the whole nose thing. I was reminded of this design when I started reading this issue and how bad it is. Jason's so good, he's just able to grab onto Tim's cape and rip it off, and Tim's just like, oh, I guess I'm fighting him without a cape now. I forgot how good Jason was at fighting. They continue fighting, and Tim reveals that he is secretly coming up with a plan to attack the Joker. I don't get why they didn't do it right away, but Tim tells Jason, he's like, are you ready, Jason? Let's go! And he throws some of his cape feathers at the window where the Joker is to distract him so that Jason can grab his gun and start shooting at the glass pane in front of the Joker, and the bullets just riddle the Joker, and he kills the Joker. Again, I don't know why they couldn't have just done this from the start. I guess we needed the Tim and Jason fight. Obviously, the Joker isn't actually dead. These also weren't the actual fathers of Tim and Jason, so there was nothing on the line. They were fighting each other for no reason. This Joker is actually a dummy. It starts shooting out all of this gas, which knocks out Tim and Jason, and then Joker comes back, grabs them, and takes them off, because they gotta go appear in the final issue of Death of the Family. They gotta appear in the grand final that happens in the Batman book, which is what we're gonna be covering next. Batman issue 17, written by Scott Snyder with art by Greg Capullo and Jonathan Glapian. Batman wakes up in the Batcave, tied to an electric chair, where he sees that the Bat family have been placed at a dinner table. This is essentially the Joker's version of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I will say that Greg Capullo's version of the Joker is the most horrifying version of the Joker during the New 52, where he peeled his face off. He's the only one who draws the face to be quite rotten looking, and he has little flies flying around him at all times. It's really gross, and I love it. He reveals that Bruce cannot get up from his chair because there are flints under the chair and under the table, and everybody's doused in gasoline. So if he moves, his family will be set on fire and they'll all die. So he's just gonna have to sit here and not let his emotions get the best of him. And Alfred comes in, he brings him in. Alfred has been Jokerized, and Bruce is like, oh, thank God, Alfred. And it's obvious that he's happy that Alfred is alive, but this is still a pretty shitty situation for Alfred, where he's been Jokerized. The face covers are pulled off of the family, and it's revealed that all of their faces are covered with bandages, and then the Joker pulls the cloches off of all of the dinner plates, and it is revealed that underneath them are the faces of the Bat family. So he has peeled off their faces, put them in ice, and is serving them as this awful dinner. And I just want to point out that I think the bandages are supposed to be a throwback to Hush, kinda, like a little reference. Jason just straight up looks like Hush in this issue, because he's got the leather jacket and everything. I also want to point out that Joker has his own cat that has two heads. It's like a mutated cat. Kind of feel bad for it, having to be the Joker's cat. It kind of looks like Simba from The Lion King, but a really fucked up version. Joker begins taunting Batman, asking him why he won't kill him. And Batman says, because you'd win. And Joker's like, that's bullshit. You know that's bullshit. I know that's bullshit. I know the real reason you won't kill me. You say it's because of this slippery slope that you're afraid of going down, that if you kill me, you're gonna kill every other villain. But I don't think that's true. What's stopping you from just killing me and then not killing anybody else? Oh, the reason why you don't kill me or any other villains is because you need us. The real problem is them, your family. Because you believe that your family weakens you. You just won't say that out loud. They hold you back because you're constantly worried about them because of the amount of times that they've died or been put in danger. Secretly, you're hoping for a world where your family doesn't exist and it's just you and me and all the other villains and you can just chase us off into the sunset. That's what you really want. So he offers Bruce the chance to free himself of the burden of the Bat family and kill them all right now. All he needs is this match. And Bruce kicks over his chair, which sets off the fire, and everybody gets set on fire, and the Joker believes that Bruce has decided to join him, when in actuality, it's Batman. This is his Batcave. He knows how it works. He grabs what looks like a grenade or something out of his bat belt, and he throws it up into the ceiling, causing a massive explosion. All this water starts pouring in, which puts out the fire and pisses the Joker off. He's like, how dare you! He takes the bandages off of his son Damien, and it's revealed that the Joker didn't actually peel off anybody's faces. He just put like a agent into their face to make them feel numb. Everybody's fine. This was all just a big elaborate joke. And Dick tells Bruce to go after the Joker. They are gonna be fine. And so he heads off to chase after the Joker, and they realize that the Joker's cat is acting really weird. And then it explodes, and all this gas goes everywhere. It's Joker gas. The Bat family gets infected by the Joker gas, and they start fighting each other while Alfred watches. Meanwhile, Batman and Joker fight each other. Joker comes at him with an axe, and Batman states that he's ending this. This is going to be the last time that they fight each other. No more quarreling. No more any of it. Joker continues trying to get under Batman's skin by saying that the Bat family are all fighting each other right now. They're going to kill each other, and then Alfred is going to be left with the scraps, assuming that Jokerized Alfred is going to eat them afterward. I think that's what he's implying. And Batman's like, no, I have faith in them. They don't make me weaker. They make me stronger. And the Joker's like, oh, well, let's see then. And he shoots Batman with acid and runs away. And he runs to the edge of a waterfall and is about to jump over. But Bruce grabs him and stops him. And he's like, no, we're not ending it accidentally like this. Everything that happens to you tonight happens by my hand. Because I've been thinking about what you said back there, old friend. About why I don't just do it finally. So how about it, Joker? How about tonight I go farther than I've ever gone? How about tonight I stop the game once and for all? The drop from here, after all, you'll never survive. Go ahead and do it then, I dare you, you'd never. I'll do you one better, because I did it, Joker. I broke the spell. It's at this point that Bruce reveals that he knows the real name of the Joker, and that he is going to tell him his real name, which is the last thing that the Joker wants. And he goes up to the Joker, he's like, your real name is... The Joker's like, shut up! And electrocutes Bruce's mouth, and then he falls from the cliff and dies. And his face comes off as he falls, and that is what we believe to be the death of the Joker. But obviously, it's the Joker. He's not gonna stay dead. Later, Alfred wakes up tied to an IV. He doesn't want to be doted on by Bruce, but Bruce gives him a bell anyway and tells him to ring it for food and drink. And Alfred just tells him to go to hell, which is funny. I love this interaction. Bruce reveals to Alfred that many years ago, back when they started, he went to see the Joker as Bruce. and gave him back his card. And he reveals to Alfred that the Joker didn't see Bruce when he looked at him. He just looked straight through him. Because the Joker has never cared about Bruce Wayne because it would ruin his fun. Bruce then reveals that he let the Joker into the Batcave, that the Joker was never going to be able to get into the Batcave because he was never going to find out who Bruce Wayne was, because he never cared. But now he's worried that the Bat family believes the Joker and everything he said about why Batman doesn't kill his foes and stuff, and Alfred tries to make him not worry by saying that the Joker is gone and that it's all over now. And Bruce gets texts from all the Bat family because he was trying to get them together in order to talk to them, and nobody wants to meet with him. Tim says no, Babs says no, Jason says no, even Damian is busy training, he doesn't really want to see his father at the moment. And then he tries to call Dick, and Dick answers the call and kind of cuts him short and is like, I know what you're going to say, and it's all good. And Bruce is like, are you sure? Like, what did the Joker say to you while I was unconscious? And Dick is like, no, nothing, he didn't say anything. We didn't even know he was there. And he leaves on his motorcycle. Bruce then discovers the isotope in the Joker toxin. Turns out it's called dubnium, and its other name is hanium, HA being its symbol, and we are left with a haunting image of Ha repeatedly, like the Joker laughing, and a fly lands on it, and that is where it ends. That is the end of Death of the Family. It's kind of crazy reading that after reading the tie-ins because the quality is just so much better. It's also a pretty good final because I was able to read those tie-ins and read the finale, and obviously I didn't read the rest of Death of the Family, but it still felt like a great finale. I was still able to enjoy it, and I think that is an example of how good Scott Snyder's writing was. But we're not done yet. We've got one more issue of Teen Titans to talk about. That's right, we're going back to Teen Titans. Issue 17, written by Scott Lobdell and Fabian Nicieza, with art by Eddie Barrows and Eber Ferreira. The issue begins with a kid named Quan Yi who has the ability to conjure light from his body, but he doesn't want superpowers, so he comes to see this doctor in order to get rid of them. The funny thing is that this is clearly supposed to be a reference to Dr. Light, almost like a reimagining of Dr. Light, except Dr. Light does exist at this point in the New 52. He appears in the Justice League book where he becomes Dr. Light and he gets light-based abilities. So this kid is kind of just a reference and nothing more. If you're expecting him to become this timeline's version of Dr. Light, he's not going to. Instead, he's been tricked by this doctor who isn't actually a doctor. He's really a hologram. He puts this kid in this machine, promising that his powers are going to be taken away, but that it's going to hurt a lot. And this kid just starts getting attacked by these robot arms with knives on them, and he dies. This kid gets his powers drawn from his body, he dies, and we see in another room, there's this dude hunched over, this really creepy looking dude, who has all these tubes in his back, and the powers from the kid are being funneled into him. And he says that he's been doing this for a while, getting these kids in, tricking them, and then they die, and he gets their powers, and soon he will be strong enough to enact his plan. We don't know what that is. So already, this issue is starting off dark as hell, and also weird as hell. Meanwhile, the Titans are in a limousine and things are really awkward between them because of the whole Joker thing and the fact that Tim still hasn't revealed his identity to the rest of the Titans. And Miguel brings this up. He's like, we've been through so many things. We've been through the culling. We've been through Dinosaur Island. We've just gone and dealt with the Joker. You have to trust us at this point to tell us your identity. And Tim doesn't. He's like, I hope you understand that I don't like keeping these secrets from you, but you've met my friends in the Bat family. They're partly why I have to keep these secrets. And then Solstice says that she understands why Tim keeps all these secrets. And we realize that the only reason she's saying this is because she is now keeping secrets herself, which is quite ironic because earlier she was upset at Tim for not telling her about the data that he was trying to get at Nowhere, and now she's keeping secrets of her own, and she's not telling anybody. It's actually a nice moment between the two of them, but it's cut short by Cassie, who decides to just throw in a one-liner and be a bit rude. It's one of the problems with this series. Whenever there's a good moment between characters, it's usually ruined by somebody else. And then Bart Allen shows up. He's been running around the limo at super speed because he doesn't want to sit inside of it. And he's been running so fast that they can't see him. And now he's decided to show himself because he says that their penthouse has been broken in by somebody and all their stuff has been taken without them realizing. And then Tim reveals to him that he was behind that and that he has created a new hideout for them. He took all their stuff from the penthouse and he has moved it all into a giant boat. That's right, the Titans are now going to live on this giant ship. I was not expecting this reveal. Kind of comes out of nowhere. Honestly, it's somewhat interesting. The reasoning behind it makes sense. Tim believes that if they're out on the ocean, then they're not going to put anybody in trouble or anything if they get attacked by another world-ending organization. Because they don't want to put anybody in harm's way, Tim states that they haven't hired a crew for the ship and that they're all going to have to pull their own weight. And then Bart makes a joke about carrying Cassie and Solstice's weight. Because of course he does. This is the guy that kissed Solstice twice without her consent. The Titans are wondering what's on the ship, and I'm wondering if the Titans are still affected by the Joker toxin because of these creepy-ass grins. Just look at Tim, and then in the background you got Solstice, nightmare fuel. Tim shows the group that he has a camera room that he refers to as Big Brother that lets him see everything, or whoever's sitting in the chair can see everything, and this is totally not going to be used by some evil organization or something in the future. Definitely not. Everyone then goes to sleep, and Bart has a hard time going to sleep because he's not used to being in a new place, and Miguel kind of gets upset at him, and Bart explains to him why he can't get to sleep, and Miguel is like, well, we have a lot in common then, because you know, you don't know where you came from, and I left my family. So neither of us really has anything right now. We only have each other, but this is the best place that we can possibly be. And then we cut to Mexico, where we finally get to see a little bit more of Miguel's backstory, or at least some hints towards his backstory, where there is somebody that he referred to him as his beloved, named Gabriel, and we also see Miguel's sister, whose name we don't know yet, but Gabriel is hospitalized, and it seems to be Miguel's fault. He was protecting Miguel, and now he is hospitalized, and that apparently was an act of betrayal by the one he holds most dear. So, has Miguel done something to him? Hopefully we'll find out. For now, we cut to Tim, who's out on the boat talking to himself. He senses that Karan is watching him. They have a bit of a conversation. Karan apologizes to Tim for getting mad at him about keeping secrets, because she's got secrets of her own now. And Tim puts his arm on her shoulder. Like, sometimes it takes us a while to notice that the things we most want in life are only an arm's length away. Exactly. Wait, what? And then Tim just pulls her in and kisses her. What is it with these characters just kissing Karan without consent? She gives in afterward, but, like, it's just gross. And she's worried about Bart, and it's like, screw Bart. Screw Tim as well. Both of these guys suck. We then cut to a kid in a coffee shop. He's getting the coffee, and a dude bumps into him and is like, hey, get out of the way, you loser. The kid turns to him and says, drop dead. And then everybody in the coffee shop drops dead. And he grabs his coffee and he drinks from it. And he's like, ah, that was pretty good. And then he leaves. And the police arrive and see all these dead bodies and are like, oh shit, what happened? We then cut to Cassie knocking on Tim's bedroom door. She comes in. Tim is done with whatever he was doing with Solstice. I'm assuming they just kissed. Maybe they slept together. I don't know. She arrives. She's wearing Tim's shirt because she doesn't have any of her own clothes right now. I think they're all dirty or something. She came here to thank Tim for helping her deal with Diesel. It's like, it's not as hard as either of us makes it out to be, is it? What? Saying thank you, being grateful, showing each other how we really feel. And he puts his hand on her face, and then they kiss. Because that's right, he's gonna spend the night with Cassie tonight. He's sleeping or spending time with two girls in the same night. And it's revealed that Raven is watching this happen with her goblet of blood, or maybe it's tomato juice, I don't know. It's probably blood. One of her servants comes in and Raven is like, "Hey, I told you not to interrupt me while I'm drinking my goblet of tomato juice, watching these people make out. It is time for me to enact my grand evil plan." And then it's revealed that Tim Drake is being mind controlled by Raven. He's got red eyes and he's in the Big Brother room listening to everything that's going on, and he hears over the radio about that kid that killed all those people in the coffee shop. And that is where it ends. And that is where this video ends. We will see the continuation of this story in next week's video, in the light and dark arc of Teen Titans. Compared to a lot of the previous issues, that one wasn't as bad, but it was still bad because of the whole, Tim spending time with Solstice and Cassie, and Raven being evil. I've never really been a fan of evil Raven story arcs just because it gets repetitive. Even if this is supposed to be a new version of Raven. The thing I'm most interested about is learning more about Miguel's backstory, because he's my favorite character in the series. He's the most likable character. We're finally getting hints at his backstory, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. I just don't think we're going to see it for a while, because Scott Lobdell has this habit of teasing things multiple times, and it takes forever to get an actual answer. Like, what is going on with Solstice and Agent Lance? What's going on with that whole plot line? It's been going on for like 10 plus issues, and we still don't know what is actually going to happen. I'm really starting to get tired of these dragged out storylines. We never got a proper finale to Nowhere. That never got a finale. There was no finale to Harvest. We don't know what's going to happen with Solstice and Agent Lance. We still don't know where Bart Allen came from, what his actual backstory is. And now we're building up to Trigon and Miguel's backstory and Raven. It just feels like there's too many things going on. I think Scott Lobdell just needs to buckle down, finish a storyline, and then move on to the next one, instead of having 6 going on at the same time. But with that little rant out of the way, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the hype button below, because it helps my content get out to more people, and hit the like button and subscribe. And I will see you next week for more Teen Titans. Have a good one.